What do people? Is the MMA guy. Today I have a video for you guys that's a little bit different, and I hope you're gonna enjoy it because that's something I really, really love to talk about, and that's something I want to expand on. Not explaining it, but to be able to provide videos that people are able to follow because of the way that I'm gonna attack it. And so I'm gonna show resume diving in MMA, and should apply to boxing as well for washed or not fighters. Okay, to judge whether a fighter's loss is because he's washed and such. And so I will give you concrete examples of what I think. I will give you an obviously washed. I will give you a fighter that I don't think is washed, a fighter that is obviously washed, and a fighter that is washed but takes a bit of nuance in the analysis. Is not washed actually. The last one as well. So we'll just go into it. So the reason why I do this video is also because there's a big washed fighter epidemic. Okay, fighter is gonna be 34 years old. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. He's washed. And it's okay that you're like a fan. Oh man, I'm a big fan of this guy. Now he's lost 3 fights in a row. I don't believe in this guy anymore. That's fine because he's probably not going to be a world champion if he's on a 3-fight losing streak. More than likely. Okay? I mean, we saw Peter Yan come back from it, but besides that, most fighters are not going to do this. Okay? And you're allowed to believe that they're washed, but is it really the truth? And we also need to understand the nuance in like level of competition, stylistic matchups, and such. And so just go with the first example. I have Leon Edwards, who I don't think is washed. And it's easy, okay, to be like, because I'm gonna say here it's a context situation. You know, he's 2-1 over Usman, got mauled the first fight. Second one, he was getting mauled. He won the first round. From what I remember, he won the first round, and then because he got a takedown in it and stuff. But then he started getting mauled the whole fight until he landed that egg kick at the last second. But if you look at their first fight, 5 takedown to 1, 83 strikes to 55. There was no way that Leon Edwards was winning that fight. Okay, and so at that point in time, we had Leon Edwards, who in their first fight, it was two judges scored it 2-1 for Usman. So you go 2-1, and then it was 3 rounds to let's say two, okay? Because we'll score the round where he landed the head kick, or a Leon Edwards round. So 3-2, 2-1. So you have 5 rounds to 3 that Kamaru Usman had over Leon Edwards in that, okay? So, yes, Leon Edwards won against Kamaru Usman, but overall he had lost more rounds to him. He's not consistently a better fighter than Kamaru Usman was. Then the fight after, Usman was super, how can you say? He was like super hesitant because of the kick, like was throwing the body kick. He was like scared he was getting set up and everything. Even then, it was a close fight, but you could see that Kamaru Usman, it's like 7 months after, started camp probably 5 months, like 4.5 to 5 months after, if it's like a 8-week camp, like they normally do. So was he really fully recovered, or was it because he really genuinely wanted to do like the immediate rematch because he was a dominant champion at the time? So it's one of those things where you're like, okay, that win, it does age well. And there's also a round, like the third round, if I remember correctly, where Usman got him down. Leon used the fence to get back up, but Usman had expended energy to get the takedown and then rest, and then like he got back up in like the middle of the round, like let's say 2 minutes, 3 minutes into the round, and Leon started like piecing him up because Kamaru was tired, just worked the takedown, and now it's 9-9, so they took away a point. But because Usman had expended energy and everything, dude, he started like Leon started building some momentum in that round, won it, but since he lost the point, it became 9-9. Realistically, if he couldn't use the fence, there was nothing that indicates that he should have won that he would have won that round because he had to use the fence to get back up. Are we gonna just assume that he would have gotten back up anyway? So you're talking about a round that should have been a 10-9 to Usman, which would have made that fight a 48-47 because now it's 49-46 or like 48-46, but it would have been a 48-47 in that case. And the fact that he ended up winning the third round and that Usman expended energy for a point, but then it didn't like advantage him, that changed the complete course of that fight. Because he ended up with like, oh, I won that round, okay. Now I just need to, you know. So you're like, this is, and fouling. There's been other fouls that Leon did in that fight, but he ended up winning that fight as well. And when you look at all the counts, it's 6-6 for the rounds that they have, that they've had together. So out of 13, so it's 6-6 and 1 that doesn't count. That should have been Usman, so it would have been 7-6. And he's had grappling success in both of those fights. 4 takedown in the second fight, 5 in the first fight, 6 in their first. Okay, so 6 in their first fight, 5 in their second, 4 in their third fight. He's always had trouble with grapplers. Okay, like him getting taken down repeatedly against Belal, who has less, not as good of control as Kamaru Usman has, means that, he had to land more takedowns, Belal. And him having grappling success does not mean that Leon was washed when they fought. Obviously, right? Because he was coming off wins. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, he was on a 4-fight win streak, lost to him in a fight where he got grappled, spiked on his head, and everything. The fight after, he lost to Sean Brady, got taken down 5 times. There's nothing that indicates that Leon Edwards, in the way that he fought against Kamaru Usman, wouldn't have been taken down by Brady. There's no way to... Because every grappler that he's fought, like the last 3 grapplers that he's fought, there's Colby Covington. Colby Covington fought with a broken foot. He's still in that 4th round and 5th round found some grappling success. It's a 48-47. It's just that we remember this fight like, Leon won easily because he won the first 3 rounds. And so you have Belal and Brady, who had grappling success against him. Colby Covington, who found some kind of grappling success against him. And Kamaru Usman in both fights, in all 3 of his fights that found grappling success against him. Therefore, it's not out of character for Leon Edwards to get mauled, essentially. Whether you think, but he beat Usman and now he can beat, like, Belal, and you think that Belal is better than Usman. That's not the way that it works, unfortunately, because the context clues do matter in that case. And we do need them here. So you have to research, the matchups and look at the fights and everything, because, like I said, context clues do matter here. And Sean Brady has a way better submission game than Belal and Kamaru Usman, who are purely just wrestlers, Sean Brady has a phenomenal submission game. And so with the takedown was able to establish control and was able to submit Leon Edwards. That also doesn't prove that he's washed, or doesn't even indicate anything close to it. Then you have the protest KO. And you can go, okay, now Leon's lost 3 in a row, he's washed. Leon's 34-35. Kamaru Usman's 37. He just beat Joaquin Buckley, who's probably, if you look at it, probably definitely a top 5 fighter on his resume, without a shadow of a doubt. Like a top 5 win at the time that he beat him. Like him beating an old Demian Maia is not better than him beating a prime Buckley on like a 6 fight winning streak, beating guys like Ruzi Boev, Wonderboy, KOing Wonderboy. Um, he's on a like Buckley and whooping the absolute brakes off Luque. So you're talking about a guy in Leon Edwards whose age doesn't really show that he should be washed, especially with the fighting style that he has. The first round against Carlos Prates, he did phenomenal. He looked absolutely phenomenal, but he got starched in the second. Prates is 7-1, lost to Gary. Besides that, he has 7 KOs, all in the first 2 rounds. Leon Edwards got KO'd in the second round. Leon Edwards showed that he was a bit chinny against Nate Diaz. Are we going to say that he was washed against Nate Diaz as well? When after that he went on to win the belt and become champion? No. The same weakness in his chin was exposed by a much more dangerous striker than any of his previous opponent. It's not an old Cowboy Cerrone. He's not better than Carlos Prates. Like, not more dangerous of a striker than Carlos Prates. Not at all. Nate Diaz, Rafael Dos Anjos, Belal, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman. None of these guys have the KO ability of Carlos Prates. Okay? You can pick and be like, oh man, Usman against Jorge Masvidal. You can think that Usman is a better fighter than Carlos Prates. You're absolutely allowed to believe that. That is completely fine. That does not mean he's as dangerous of a KO artist, okay? And no one with genuine MMA knowledge would ever die on that hill, People forget, man, Usman. So this is the way to analyze it. Nothing on this resume tells us he's washed. If they book him against fucking Kevin Holland and he gets darced in the first round, then you can go, oh, okay, he's probably washed now. That guy might be cooked. And then in retrospect, you can go, oh, maybe he was. But then if, I don't know, they book him with, I don't know who they're going to book Leon Edwards with next. Who could they book him against? If they book him with Geoff Neal and close decision either way, in a fight where Geoff Neal shows up like he did when he fought with Carlos Prates, it didn't go his way, but that was Neal that was coming in like King Von, and the same way that he fought Shavkat and stuff. Like, he has the potential to beat him. The idea that if he lost that fight, then okay, now he's for sure washed. No, there has to be a contradiction in the resume. If they book him against Rafael Dos Anjos, so he already beat before easily, and now he's a lot less diminished than him, and Rafael Dos Anjos gets a split decision over him, or Leon Edwards gets like a split decision win, a controversial split decision over Rafael Dos Anjos, then maybe you can go, oh, okay, now he's washed. This guy's cooked. That's how you can go. Now, obviously washed fighter, Tony Ferguson, when you look at his resume, he beat RDA when he was the number 3 lightweight in the world. And at that point in time, RDA, after that loss to Tony Ferguson, went on to beat like Robbie Lawler at 70 and guys that were still at the top of the division at 70 at the time. And now he's getting arm triangled by a 36-year-old, 2-4, 2-4-1 in his last 7, unranked Bobby Green, who got absolutely brutally KO'd by a Drew Dober, who's never been the level of prime Tony Ferguson or anything like that, okay? So you go, okay, Tony Ferguson is washed. That is fine, because there's resume contradictions here in terms of the level of opposition that he's losing to compared to who he was fighting before. I mean, he lost to Justin Gaethje. Look at the amount of strike he landed on Gaethje, though. God damn. But, Tony Ferguson has great, like, championship level. Does he have like championship level wins? I mean, he beat a phenomenal, a great version of RDA. He beat a good version of Donald Cerrone. Um, he dropped Justin Gaethje when Gaethje was like an absolute marauder. Um, Tony Ferguson is a lot better than unranked Bobby Green. He's a lot better than getting subbed in the first round by a washed version of Michael Chiesa, who's having Tad fight with Max Griffin, dude. So definitely, like, are you gonna talk to me about this version of Michael Chiesa that's going tit for tat with Max Griffin in a extremely low output fight? Like, are we gonna talk like this guy would beat the version of Robbie Lawler that RDA beat in like 2017? I'm not. I'm not. I wouldn't bet on that at all, and I would say that is like should be considered a resume contradiction. Sometimes it's a little bit hard between eras, but like Michael Chiesa, dude, nowadays he's completely washed. The idea that Tony Ferguson's getting submitted by that guy is insane. So, and he's losing to a guy. It's not like Bobby Green was on a resurgence, dude. He was 2-4-1 in his last seven, and since then he's been getting whooped. Except now he just beat a Bellator guy, a Bellator tick who was so goddamn bad. I don't even know how the UFC signed him. So this is the level of Bobby Green right now. So the big question most of the time is, what name on this resume proved that losing to this level of opposition means he's washed? And are there context clues that would go against it? Leon beating Usman, then losing to Belal isn't. Even if you believe, I'm just reading now. Like, even if you think, like, I believe that Usman is better than Belal. I think his wrestling is better. I think he has more power. I think overall he's better than Belal is. Like, if you go prime for prime, for sure. But the context doesn't go against it. The context and the way that grapplers have performed against Leon Edwards, nothing goes against it. Like, there's another one here that I think shows that he's more than likely washed. Woodley ruling his era, steamrolling guys like Robbie Lawler in like a minute. Carlos Condit absolutely like leg kick KOing Carlos Condit, who was looked at as a great grappler like a year after he fought GSP and stuff. It's not like Carlos Condit was completely washed when they fought, okay? No matter what old heads will lead you to believe, have to go this way. He beat Wonderboy in extremely close fight, but he dropped him multiple times. He had striking success with him, was able to grapple him. He had some great rounds. Meanwhile, Wonderboy steamrolled Vicente Luque in 2019. Then, was it 2019 or 2017? I can't remember. And then Woodley, and on a 3-fight losing streak, gets subbed by Luque in one round. It's like, okay, more than likely he's washed because he was like competing and even had like rounds where he could like really outperform guys like Wonderboy who are like beating Luque to a pulp or like easily outstriking him, dropping him. It's like, okay, so you're probably not at the same level as you were when you were doing that. And also you're on a 4-fight losing streak. Therefore, context clues kind of tell us that, okay, I think we can give you the fact that you're a wash now. We're not going to hold those losses against you like when we compare you to your prime. But like, let's apply it. I'm going to do another fighter for y'all. Another analysis. Alexander Rakic. I see some people talk, Rakic washed and stuff like that. Do you think because he's on a 4-fight losing streak, it means he's washed? First off, Jan Blachowicz lost. It's a whatever situation because it's off an injury. But look at the level of competition that he's losing to. Like, I'm gonna do it like methodically with you guys. Like, look at the level of competition he's losing to. Is it better than the competition he beat? And it is, okay. And I will go with you guys because I know some of you guys will be like, man, Thiago Santos had a close fight with John Jones, and now you're saying like Yuri Prohaska and Azamat, like these guys are better than him. Santos, when they fought, was on a 2-fight losing streak and ended his career the year later, and his last 5 were 1-4. Okay, he beat Johnny Walker. Besides that, he's lost to Jamal Hill. That I can remember. There's the John Jones loss. That's fine. Then he had the knee situation after the John Jones fight. He got subbed by Glover after. After that, he lost to Rakic. Or did he beat Johnny Walker? One of the two. And then he lost 2 fights, one of them to Jamal Hill, who's dog water. Then you have Jimmy Manua. Some people will be like, man, Jimmy Manua, people forget, man. Are you saying that these guys are better than Jimmy, man? Back in the day, Jimmy was, dude, Jimmy Manua ended his career on that loss. He was 0-4 and he got KO'd in 3 of those 4 fights, okay? So you're not telling me that this guy is better than undefeated. Like, at the point where they fought, you can think all time that he's better. I don't care about that. I'm saying at the point in time at which Jimmy Manua fought with Alexander Rakic, is there an argument to say that Alexander Rakic is washed because he beat Jimmy Manua and he lost to Azamat Murzakanov? No, Azamat Murzakanov is undefeated. There's no contradiction here. And he's been KOing every single person except Dustin Jacoby, which he dropped. He's dropped every single person. And he did lethally so against Alexander Rakic. Is there a contradiction with him beating Magomed Ankalaev? Definitely not. You're talking about a guy who's 1-1 with Pereira, who has a win, well, a draw that he should have won against Jan Blachowicz, and when he was a lot closer to his prime. You're talking about a guy who's been consistently beating everyone, in his 2 losses, or Paul Craig in his UFC debut, where he was easily beating him, but then he tapped at the last second of a round, which was a weird loss. And since then, he's not lost until he fought Pereira last time, who's an all-time great, a top 10 GOAT of all time. So no contradiction here. Yuri Prohaska has beaten every single person he stepped foot in the octagon with, besides Pereira. Everyone else, Khalil Rountree, Glover Teixeira became, like, while he was champion, won the belt off him. He has a great resume. He KO'd Volkan Ozdemir as well, who beat Alexander Rakic. So definitely not. While Rakic was still like winning, because after that he got 2 wins. And then Jan Blachowicz injury, so you don't even have to talk about it. So therefore, no, there's no contradiction here. Therefore, we can't say that Rakic is washed. If Rakic fights, who could he fight at 205? That's Marcin Prachnio, the guy with the karate kick, and he gets stumped in a round. Then it's like, oh, okay, Rakic is probably washed, because what is this? But besides that, like, right now, we can't say he's washed just because he's on a 4-fight losing streak, because the level of opposition matches. He's never beaten that level of competition. At the time where he's beaten them, they're not close to have the same level of momentum as the guys that he's losing to. So, no, man, I'm not ever gonna accept if someone says, oh man, yeah, if I like do a prediction video and I go and I pick Rakic and someone's like, yeah, man, I think Rakic's washed, I'd be like, dude, he's not washed. If you think he's washed because he's lost these fights, you just think he sucks. You're allowed to think that. That's fine. But he's not washed. It's not because of old age. It's not because of that. It's just because this is higher level of competition than the guys that he's fought before. Simple. So this is the end, guys. I hope you liked it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, man. We're about to hit 70, so